What is good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to K's Boom Boom Room, the most happening reaction channel on all of YouTube. We got a breakdown from another content creator on YouTube named BlackySpeakz. I got put onto this dude from Screwface. I know y'all have heard me talk about Screwface a lot on this channel. He is my favorite reactor. I still watch all the reactors that I watched before. I still watch, but every time I see something that I'm gonna want to talk about on my channel, I turn it off. So like I've seen like the first 3 minutes of this on Screwface channel because he was reacting to it, and then I was like, oh, this is like perfect. This is something that I wanted to, because I kind of try to do the same thing on my reaction / breakdown of the Super Bowl halftime show. But this guy goes into so much more detailed depth. He catches a lot of things that I missed. I'd be lying if I said I caught everything in Kendrick's performance. And I caught a decent amount. But yeah, we're going to get into it. BlackySpeakz. He really does a really good job of breaking this shit down from what I can see, what I've seen so far. So shout out to Screwface. Thank you for putting me onto this, man. I got a couple other reaction videos I'm going to want to get into today. We got some fire-ass music that has been dropped by like Ray Vaughn and shit. So I got a lot of catching up to do. But we're going to get into it, starting with this.
Now, Kendrick Lamar is currently trending after his Super Bowl performance, and for good reason. Ever since it was announced back in September that Kendrick was going to perform, the hype has been real. And now it finally happened, and people can't stop talking about it. But here's the thing, most people only saw what was on the surface. What they missed was the deeper message Kendrick was sending. This performance wasn't just about entertainment, it was filled with subliminals, symbolism, and a statement that went way beyond the music. So in this video, we're breaking it all down, what Kendrick was really trying to communicate, and why this might be one of the most important Super Bowl performances we've ever seen.
And like he said, a lot of this stuff, man, went over a lot of people's heads. I'm seeing all types of things over the internet, all over the internet. Worst halftime show performance ever. Like literally, like he wasn't saying anything. He didn't do nothing. Like you couldn't even hear him. Like it was just a bunch of mumbo jumbo garbage that they were just spewing out to hate, like for no reason. And it's crazy because shout out Curvis TV, man, too. I was watching his breakdown reaction thing after I had put out mine, and he was pulling up all sorts of different videos off of Instagram and stuff, and you had like 90-year-old white women dancing in their living rooms to Not Like Us and to fucking the halftime show. So like it's obvious that people are just hating for no reason, just to hate, whether they grasp the concept or not. I feel like people are just gonna hate, period. You know, especially the Drake fans, man. They want it so badly. They wanted this halftime show to be about Drake so badly, and they're pissed because he didn't. It wasn't. They're grasping at straws. The A on the necklace, oh, that's for A minor. It's literally PG Lang's logo, an alternate logo. It's like all over the place. They use that as their thing all the time, way before even the diss. I mean, and then like it, Not Like Us. Everybody wanted to play Not Like Us. Everybody wanted him to play Not Like Us. If he didn't play Not Like Us, it would have been such a major disappointment to everybody. Like, he had to play it. It was...
Let's start with some of the basics, what I'd consider the less exciting but still important details. First, we have the A chain, which caught a lot of people's attention. Some fans believe the A could be a subliminal shot at Drake, referencing the A minor line from Not Like Us, or even Drake's real name, Aubrey. While there's definitely a possibility, if you ask me, I think this is more about Kendrick promoting PG Lang. PG Lang, the company Kendrick started in 2020, specializes in music, film, television, and creative production. If you take a look at their merchandise, they frequently use the letter A, making this seem more like a branded promotion rather than a direct shot at Drake. That being said, I wouldn't put it past Kendrick to include this, knowing people would speculate and tie it back to their beef. But overall, I think this was less about the drama and more about using the big stage in America to push his brand forward. And then we have Serena Williams crip walking, which is so petty but undeniably funny. This moment was of course a direct, calculated jab considering Serena's history with Drizzy. Serena Williams and Drake used to date at one point, for anyone who doesn't know. Their connection first gained traction in August 2015 when paparazzi snapped them getting cozy at a Cincinnati restaurant. Before that, Drake had already been spotted courtside at her tennis matches, fueling speculation. However, things between Serena and Drake eventually soured. The exact reason, well, nobody truly knows. But what we do know is that in 2022, Drake took an unexpected shot at Serena's husband, Alexis Ohanian, on his collab album with 21 Savage, Her Loss. He did this on the track Middle of the Ocean, when he said, "Sidebar Serena, your husband a groupie. He claimed we don't got a problem, but no boo, it is like you coming for sushi." That was a blatant sign of disrespect, not just towards Alexis, but indirectly towards Serena as well. And it was clear that she caught shade. Alexis Ohanian later responded on Twitter, brushing off Drake's comments while proudly embracing his role as a quote-unquote groupie for his wife and daughter. Very respectable man. Fast forward to the Super Bowl, and Serena's playful yet symbolic crip walking during Kendrick Lamar's performance almost felt like a subtle but satisfying clapback for the both of them. I think the deeper context definitely made it hilarious in its own right, whether intentional or not, which it probably was. It was another reminder that hip-hop and pop culture history always finds a way to resurface. So Serena, one of Drake's exes, and they obviously had a fallout. What a better way to send a message on the biggest stage than having her dance or crip walk to what is essentially the national hater anthem against Drake. Also, SZA was up on that stage with...
Another thing too that I think a lot of people are missing is obviously there is a direct connection to Serena Williams and Drake, right? And like he even says, Kendrick even says in the song, better not speak on Serena or whatever the exact bar was. I can't think of it right on the top of my head, but like I think this was more... The whole performance was a very political statement, right? Like even from the very beginning, the very first jab where he's on the GNX and he says the revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. I think that was more of a shot at Trump looking back on it. Like in my first video, initially I thought it was about Drake, right? But like talking about the battle, you picked the right time, but the wrong one. But looking back on it and seeing other reactions and everything like that, I think that was more of a shot at Trump because he was there at the Super Bowl, and because I feel like they were trying to use him like because he was the most popular star right now, and he was hip hop. He's very big into black culture and everything like that, and the culture movement and all that stuff, and I think they were going to try to use him as like another puppet type thing. And he was trying to say like, nah, you picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Like I'm not the one that you can just have dance around on stage and be like, yo, look at me and not talk about nothing. You know what I mean? And Serena Williams, when she was, I think it was the 2012 Olympics, it was a big controversy, man. It was a sign of disrespect because when she won, she crip walked on the Wimbledon grass, and everybody there was like so much outrage. Everybody was calling her ghetto and hella shit, and like tying into with like Uncle Sam, like no, too loud, too ghetto, and all that stuff. Like I think that obviously you could tie it to Drake, but I also think that had a big deal to do with what happened back in 2012 when she was doing that and the controversy surrounded it. I feel like that had more to do with the controversy than it had to do with Drake. But obviously, it's not a stretch to connect the two because, like he's about to say, SZA is obviously another ex who was up on stage and was performing with him. So, like, obviously the connections are there, but I think it had more of a deeper meaning than what people are realizing.
With Kendrick, and for anyone who didn't know, SZA used to actually date Drake back in 2009. So there's that. For the Serena angle, there's also another layer to this moment. Serena did grow up in Compton before moving to Florida at the age of 9. So not only does she share hometown roots with Kendrick Lamar, but the fact that they came together collectively to embrace a song that openly disses Drake, that's a shot 100%. It almost felt like a full circle moment. Kendrick, the hometown hero, using his Super Bowl performance to take aim at an industry rival, and then Serena, who grew up in Compton, casually hitting the crip walk to the same song right there on national television. Aside from that, we have Kendrick conveniently turning into the camera as soon as he said, "Say Drake, I hear you like him young. Better not go to Cell Block 1." Now that, I don't think there's anything particularly deep about that, but if you guys seen the look on this guy's face when he says that, I ain't really gonna say anything. Just look at this guy's face, bruh. This face has hate a million times written all over it, okay? Now that aside, let's actually go over the real shit now, okay? And this is something you're probably only gonna hear here because nobody breaks this down like me. So how about drop a like on this video for your boy? So most people obviously paid attention to those surface level things like the A Chain, Serena, and all that. Those things aside, this wasn't just
depth breakdown. Like, we're only 4 minutes in, and he's kind of like going deep into the layers and everything. So I will say I haven't seen anybody break down this halftime show like he has so far.
A performance. This so-called performance, okay, this was actually a political statement. The show opened with none other than legendary actor Samuel L. Jackson introducing Kendrick Lamar. But this wasn't just an introduction. Samuel L. Jackson was dressed as Uncle Sam, the well-known symbol which is supposed to represent the US government. So he's a physical embodiment of the government, okay? And that embodies authority, control, which is essentially the same system that Kendrick has been fighting for the entirety of his career, but most importantly of all, life. Kendrick Lamar has spent his entire career being critical of the systems in America that have contributed to so much of the pain Black America has faced. He's never shied away from addressing oppression, economic disparity, and systematic racism in his music. In fact, he dedicated an entire album to these themes in 2015 called To Pimp a Butterfly. One of the most striking examples of this is Wesley's Theory, the very first song on the album where Kendrick raps, "Anything to see, my name is Uncle Sam, I'm your dog, motherfucker, you can't live at the mall, I know you're kind, that's why I'm kind, don't have receipts, oh man, that's fine, pay me later, wear those gators, cliche, then say F your haters."
That song is so fire and so deep and has such a deeper meaning than what like people, I think, because people always just look, like he said, they're what's that fish that sticks to the side of the fucking glass and just sucks on shit? You know, they only eat the shit on the surface. They don't go deeper and find the good stuff, you know, the juicy stuff. And that's what Kendrick is really all about, is the deep, the juiciness, right? He's such a layered artist, and that song is so deep, and I'm pretty sure it's about Wesley Snipes. But yeah, man, that...
Now, this particular song is about the financial traps that have kept Black Americans stuck in a cycle of debt and economic struggle. Kendrick paints a picture of the US government personified as Uncle Sam, luring young Black men into a false sense of financial freedom, encouraging them to overspend, indulge in materialism, and accumulate debt, all while knowing that the system is designed to keep them from ever truly attaining wealth. Simply put, it's a trap. And Kendrick, being as intentional as he is, wasn't just referencing this song for nostalgia. His decision to have Samuel L. Jackson, dressed as Uncle Sam, introduce his Super Bowl performance was a callback to this very idea, reminding us that financial literacy, systematic racism, and the exploitation of Black culture are still very relevant conversations today. Wesley's Theory is a direct reference to actor Wesley Snipes, who famously went to prison for tax evasion. Kendrick used Snipes' situation as a metaphor for how the system sets up Black artists, athletes, and entertainers to fail financially. Wesley Snipes was once one of the biggest actors in Hollywood, but after failing to pay millions in taxes, the American government came down on him hard. While tax evasion is a crime,
he was the original like superhero. Like, Blade put Marvel on the map for real. I don't think people realize that Marvel was on the verge of bankruptcy. Like, they were about to not be a business anymore. They were about to be done. Like, Marvel was not going to be a thing. They had to sell all of their major superheroes rights, like the X-Men, Spider-Man, to Sony and Fox and all that shit, because Deadpool, all of that. That's why all those superhero movies that were being made by those different studios was because Marvel was going bankrupt. They had to sell all of their rights to all of their characters. But they had Blade, and Blade was like phenomenal. Blade 1, Blade 2, Blade Trinity, all of them were great, and it really saved Marvel. And Wesley Snipes, like, his career shot up like crazy, and then he just kind of fizzled out and like was broke. He was broke because, and I don't mean this with like any of like, because it's systematic oppression, but like the Black communities are just not as financially educated as, and not just Black communities, but minorities, communities that feature. You guys know what I'm trying to say, like Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Asians, stuff like that. In America, they're not as financially educated on how to maintain wealth, and that's a systematic thing that is on purpose, and that's what he's saying here too. So
crime regardless of who commits it. Kendrick's point is that black celebrities are often placed in a financial trap, encouraged to spend recklessly, not given the tools for financial literacy, and then penalized harshly when they make mistakes. Kendrick's message in Wesley's theory is that the system doesn't just allow black success, it profits off of black success while making sure that the wealth never truly stays within the community. The government gives opportunities, loans, and access to luxury.
And again, I don't think it's just black communities. They deal with it a lot, and I'm not trying to take away, but I think it is just all minority communities. Like, it's look what's happening with Mexicans right now and ICE and everything that's going on. It's very systemic. It's all done with a purpose. It's on purpose.
But then punishes those who don't navigate the system correctly. It's a cycle, one that's intentionally designed to keep black people chasing wealth without ever achieving true financial independence. And when you bring this back to the Super Bowl performance, the symbolism becomes even clearer. Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam wasn't just a random creative choice, it was a statement. Kendrick was showing that the same oppressive forces he's been rapping about for years are still at play.
And another thing too that I wanted to touch on, that I just wanted to say, and I'm sorry for pausing so much, but like, I also think like the division between the minority cultures and the different minorities that we have within America is also very much on purpose. I think social media and the left, the right, it doesn't matter what side that you're on. I think that politically they use social media and they use news outlets like Fox and CBS and CNN and all of them. It doesn't matter what political stance they take. They use all of them to try to highlight this division, like it's blacks against the world, and it's Mexicans against the world, and it's all of these minorities against everybody else. When in reality, I feel like a lot of the minorities deal with the same things, and if they look past the racial boundary, I feel like a lot of bro, there's a lot of similarities between Mexicans and blacks and Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and, well, obviously they're both Latinos, but like you know what I'm trying to say, like and Arabs, and I am Mexican, Puerto Rican, black, and I think my grandma is somewhat Turkish. I don't know 100% on that, but like I'm a mix of all sorts of things, like, and I've seen it with my own eyes through friendships, through my family. There is not that much different between what minorities go through, and I feel like each individual minority, not just blacks but Mexicans and Arab communities and everything, they try to individualize and internalize their struggles and make it like it's only their own, when in reality everybody deals with this. Not everybody, but like minorities for the most part all deal with the same thing, and that's oppression. And it's sorry.
Even on one of America's biggest stages while he's on that stage. Essentially, Kendrick is saying the same forces that allowed me to get on the stage, the ones that helped me get to my success and wealth, are the same forces still controlling the game while I'm performing on this stage. It's a paradox. Kendrick is saying that, hey, I know that I'm benefiting from the system, but he's also a product of the system's constraints. Alright, we're in.
Further context, the industry profits off black culture but doesn't want it to be raw, too real, or too disruptive. Kendrick is being told to stay in line.
Not playing that entire clip, man, because they're trying to get my motherfucking coins out here, bro, and I'm not going to let that happen. And that's why Samuel L. Jackson, representing the U.S. government, injects himself into the performance by saying, too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. This moment isn't just about performance theatrics. It's a direct critique of how black expression is often policed and commodified. It's the system allowing Kendrick to exist, but only under certain conditions. The message is clear. Be successful, but not too successful. Speak out, but not too loud. stay in line, play the game, and don't disrupt the system that benefits you. Now, the game he's referring to is the entertainment industry itself, the same industry that uplifts but of course exploits black artists at the same time. It's the idea that as long as you're making money for the system, you're welcome, but the moment you challenge it too much, you become a problem. Kendrick has played this game masterfully throughout his career. He's managed to critique the system while still thriving within it. But at the Super Bowl, one of the biggest stages in America, he's making it clear, I know exactly what this is, and I know exactly how much freedom I actually have. Now, this is where Drake comes into the picture. Drake is a Canadian guy who, unlike Kendrick, has never been positioned as a revolutionary or a disruptor. He plays the game effortlessly, adapting to every trend, every industry shift, and every cultural moment without ever truly challenging the system. The battle between Kendrick and Drake isn't just about music or two rappers going at each other. It represents something bigger. It's yin versus yang, good versus evil, authenticity versus industry manipulation. Kendrick is the artist who constantly critiques the system.
And I've noticed a pattern when it comes to these rap battles, when it comes to the major rap battles that we've seen throughout hip hop history. It always seems like it's the revolutionary versus the machine man, right? The entertainment. I don't want to say bot, but like the one that represents the system, right, and one that represents the people. And like you saw that with Pac and with Biggie, right? Biggie was the system man with Puffy and all that, and Pac was a revolutionary. You saw it with Jay-Z and Nas. Jay-Z was the system man, and Nas was the revolutionary. Now you're seeing it with Pac and with Biggie, right? I mean, not Pac and Biggie. Now you're seeing it with Kendrick and Drake, right? Drake is the man that represents the system, the one that stays in line, that puts out the hits, that doesn't speak on touchy topics, that doesn't ever speak out on anything, and just, you know, does what he's told to do, right? Well, meanwhile, Kendrick is the revolutionary that speaks out, that speaks for the people, that speaks on touchy topics, and brings attention to topics that would otherwise be swept under the rug. You know what I mean? And it was even a little bit of that theme in the 50 and Ja Rule, because Ja Rule was being criticized for being too switching over to pop and being too mainstream and too for the system and everything, and everybody. That's why everybody loved 50, because he was raw and he was real and he was for the people. And obviously 50 was never really a revolutionary, but like there was a little bit of that element in that beef. And I feel like it's always that throughout history, man. It's kind of crazy how it moves that way. It's almost like it's designed to move that way. But also the revolutionary always tends to win. I mean, Pac won, Nas won, 50 won, Kendrick won, like,
calling out its flaws and exposing its traps. Drake, on the other hand, is the artist who thrives within the confines of the system. Drake, for a long time, has represented the industry's favorite artist, marketable, accessible, and not so controversial. Kendrick, on the other hand, represents the people's artist, critical, disruptive, and unwilling to conform. Their rivalry has been painted as just another rap beef, but on a deeper level, it's a clash of ideologies. That's really what it is. So when Kendrick takes on the biggest stage in American entertainment and turns it into a statement against the system, it's not just about Drake. It's what he symbolizes. It's Kendrick reminding the world that the industry rewards those who play the game and silence those who question it. And by performing Not Like Us, he made sure that message was loud and clear. Now later on, before Kendrick is about to perform Peekaboo, Samuel L. Jackson delivers the line, "I see you brought your homeboys with you." The old culture cheat code, scorekeeper, deduct one life. This is more than just a random transition. It's a loaded statement. This moment ties directly into the overarching theme of the performance, the battle between playing the game and challenging the system just enough. "I see you brought your homeboys with you." On the surface, it acknowledges Kendrick bringing his team, his culture, and most importantly of all, his people to the stage. But coming from Samuel L. Jackson, who's playing Uncle Sam, the symbol of the US government and the industry's power, it carries a condescending tone. It suggests that Kendrick is leaning on the strength of his roots, his community, and black culture to make an impact. It's almost as if Uncle Sam is saying, "Oh, so you're using your people, your authenticity, your blackness as a way in?" And it's funny because blackness is literally the source of everything in the entertainment industry. Music, style, culture.
Why did he have a banana on his head. Wait a minute. Did y'all catch that? Am I tripping? Hold up. That man had a banana on his head. He had
as a way in. And it's funny because blackness is literally the source of everything in the entertainment industry. Music, style, culture. But when it comes to the image that the industry wants to represent, it's often watered down, controlled, or repackaged to be more digestible for mainstream audiences. Hip-hop, R&B, and black culture as a whhole have shaped every major movement in music.
I won't say that it was Elvis's fault, although he did take, black culture and remix it into his own thing and got big off of it. I also feel like Elvis was also a genuine fan of the culture because, I don't know, he grew up in, like, black communities and stuff, so he grew up around that music and everything like that. From what I know of Elvis, I'm not a big, like, Elvis historian and shit, but yeah.
Music and entertainment. Yet the industry has historically treated black artists as both the foundation and the afterthought. Black artists are expected to innovate, set trends, and define culture. But when they become too outspoken or too disruptive or too unapologetically black, they're met with resistance. And this is that resistance at play. When Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam dismisses Kendrick's authenticity as just a cultural cheat code, it reflects how the industry uses black culture while trying to control who gets to profit from it. So this could be a subtle dig at how the industry exploits black culture, allowing artists to bring their background into the mainstream only when it benefits the system. Also, he's performing peekaboo, so let's talk about the white outfits, okay? Because those white outfits right there is definitely more than just a fashion choice. If you follow Kendrick's career, you know that he doesn't do anything without intention. In a situation like this, there's a strong argument that this was a direct reference to the KKK and the idea of America. All the dancers dressed in white, moving in unity while Kendrick performs a song.
I don't know, because I feel like I don't know about that one, because I feel like all of them would have their hoods up and like it would be more direct or maybe not, because it is the Super Bowl and he did change the lyrics up and he tried to make it, while being controversial, he tried to make it more suitable. So maybe, but I feel like that one might be a little bit of a reach.
Song that directly calls out Drake, who's supposed to represent the system. That visual alone is very symbolic. The Ku Klux Klan, also known as the KKK, is known for wearing white robes, representing white supremacy, oppression, and the same systematic racism Kendrick has been speaking out against his entire career. And let's not forget that hip-hop has been calling out America, from Ice Cube to Tupac, and now Kendrick is continuing that tradition on one of the biggest stages in America. This could also be a reference to Colin Kaepernick. The NFL has a complicated history with race, from how the Colin Kaepernick situation played out to the way black artists have been selectively allowed to perform on certain.
Bro, you know how crazy it would have been if Colin Kaepernick came out on the stage? That would have been wild.
Stages. And yet Kendrick gets up there and flips the entire thing into a critique of the system itself. It's almost like he's saying, look, I know what country this is, I know how this game is played, and I know exactly where we stand. Now, right before Kendrick is about to perform Not Like Us, Samuel L. Jackson delivers another loaded line.
That's what America wants.
So we're gonna have to cut that short because copyright is beating my fucking ass right now, bruh. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what America wants. Nice and calm. You're almost there. Don't miss this. And before he can even finish, Kendrick cuts him off, launching straight into Not Like Us. So this moment wasn't just theatrical. Now this moment wasn't just theatrical. It was symbolic. It was the system quite literally being interrupted. Samuel L. Jackson, still playing the role of Uncle Sam, the government, the establishment, the industry, was essentially telling Kendrick, this is what we want from you, something safe, something that doesn't challenge us. You're almost where we want you. Stay in line and don't ruin it. But Kendrick doesn't let him finish. Instead, he shuts him completely down and jumps straight into Not Like Us, arguably the most rebellious moment of the entire show. And that right there, that's the perfect representation of how America has always tried to police black voices. The government has a history of suppressing outspoken black figures, whether through censorship, blackballing, or outright violence. The entertainment industry has a habit of rewarding black artists only when they play by the rules and punish those who challenge the system. The media often tries to dictate how black artists should behave, expecting them to be nice and calm rather than unapologetic and disruptive, because when other groups of people speak up, it's seen as passion advocacy, standing up for what's right. But when black people speak up, suddenly it's labeled as aggression, a threat, or something that needs to be controlled. But Kendrick isn't here to be controlled. The second Uncle Sam tries to contain him, he breaks free by being his loud, aggressive self and does the very thing they don't want him to do. And then to top it all off, Kendrick ends his Super Bowl performance with the song TV Off, which quite literally means turn the damn TV off.
Turn this TV off, turn this.
I think there are two major layers to why Kendrick chose to end this performance with this song. First of all, it's definitely a universal message to everyone. In a world where people are constantly fed media narratives, propaganda, and distractions, Kendrick is telling the audience to wake up. The Super Bowl is one of the biggest spectacles in America. Corporations spend billions just to have a commercial slot because they know the whole world is watching. The game, the halftime show, the ads, it's all a distraction from real life issues that don't go away once the TV is off. Kendrick ending with TV off could be him saying, enough with the distractions. Think for yourself. And then the other half of the message is a message to Black America. The media has historically controlled the narrative about black people, whether through the news, entertainment, or politics, or the entertainment industry. The way black artists, athletes, and leaders are portrayed is often filtered through a lens of control, only showing what fits the agenda. So when Kendrick closes off his performance with TV Off, it's his way of telling Black America to stop letting the media dictate their reality. Don't let America decide who your heroes are. Don't let the system control the narrative. Kendrick was clearly sending a message with this performance, and I can't believe there are people who thought this was just a regular halftime show, but then again, it makes sense. The masses only see what's on the surface. That's how it's always been. Most people just saw a high energy performance, a few viral moments, and some controversy, but if you've been following Kendrick's career, you already know that this man never does anything without a purpose, and that's why I respect him.
And he's so factual right there too, because like I said, I've been seeing all sorts of things. It's like people just want flashiness and dancing and like distractions. That's what they want, man. Ray Vaughn said it perfectly on his remix of Watch the Party Die, man. He literally said it's like you gotta be ignorant to be able to speak to the masses, because if you are not ignorant and you're actually speaking on something, they don't want to hear it. And it's so sad, man, because that's what social media and it's what the government and like America has done to people, man. It's so sad. Nobody could like thinks for themselves anymore.
Him so much. You can't hear me break all this down and still think it was just about entertainment. Love him or hate him, Kendrick has always been about the message. He's never been the type to chase clout or drop music just for the sake of it. Every time he speaks, he's saying something, and this performance was just another example of that. And this is exactly why I'm so happy he's having this moment, because we finally have an artist on the biggest stage in America who's as authentic as an artist can possibly be. From mixtape Kendrick to Super Bowl Kendrick, I've been following this guy since he first came in the game. Sounded like Lil Wayne back when he was still, Lil K. rapping over other people's beats and finding his.
And I've gone back and I've listened to I've listened to all of Kendrick, right? But like growing up, I had never been the biggest K-Dot fan. If you asked me who I thought was the best rapper, you would hear me say Logic and J. Cole before you would ever hear me mention Drake or Kendrick's name. Like I like J. Cole and Logic. Those are my two favorite rappers. And when I really first got into hip hop, when I was like in middle school and shit, and yeah, I never really listened to Kendrick. My two known songs by Kendrick was Swimming Pools and ADHD. And that was it. And I hadn't heard To Pimp a Butterfly or anything like that. When I really got into Kendrick was when he dropped Damn with Humble and everything, and then he did the Black Panther soundtrack and All the Stars with SZA and everything. Like that's when I really became a Kendrick fan, and even still, I never really considered him the best until the beef, really. I mean, like, because then it was just, it's undeniable at this point until somebody comes in and knocks him off. And like that's when I like went back and listened to everything. Like I listened to obviously when I listened to Damn, I went back and I listened to All the Good Kid, Mad City, but I still hadn't heard To Pimp a Butterfly and stuff. But after the beef, I went back and I listened to Pimp a Butterfly. I listened to Section 80 all over again. And, like, it's undeniable, bro. Like, Kendrick is just... He's insane, bro, with his pen and the topics that he talks about. There is not another artist out like him, bro. There isn't. And J. Cole makes very conscious rap. His pen is very... But, like, he's not... he's not as controversial. He speaks on very deep topics and everything like that, but I feel like more everything that he talks about is like more. I don't know. Somebody said it perfectly. Kendrick makes songs for the soul, and Cole makes songs for the heart. Like, I don't know. Like Cole just speaks to you, to your heart, you know, and makes you feel a type of way. And then Kendrick just is just makes you think like crazy. It's wild. And Cole can bar that makes you think. You know what I mean? But like, he's more direct with his. And yeah, so, but I brought that up because I don't want people to think like I'm just glazing Kendrick or like, oh, it's just Kendrick meet writers and Kendrick stands and stuff. Like, nah, I'm not a stan of nobody. Even my favorite artists can get critiqued. All right, like Grippy. I'm sorry, but that was not it, Cole. That was not it at all. Like, and there's a few projects by Logic that I didn't really sit with, you know what I mean, or rock with. And so like, it's not writing to admit when something is great. So yeah, and Kendrick is great. He's the greatest.
His voice. So to see him evolve from that young kid from Compton to a cultural icon who's using the Super Bowl as a statement, that's iconic and legendary. Honestly, it's great. And what makes it even greater is how much he's able to say with so little. And this is what separates Kendrick from everyone else. He doesn't just tell you, he shows you. Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam, the system controlling black artists, the dancers dressed in white, possible reference to America and white supremacy, cutting off Uncle Sam before Not Like Us, defying the system in real time, ending with TV off, the final statement, wake up, stop being distracted. Every single moment was intentional. This wasn't just a performance, guys, this was a cultural moment right here. But I'm of course just one man with one perspective and one voice, which is why I want to hear what you guys have to say about this entire Super Bowl performance by Kendrick Lamar. If you're new here, my name is BlackySpeakz, so nice to meet you. Like the video and of course subscribe if you are new here. I appreciate you guys so much.
There was another thing too that I saw, and I thought it was something when I first saw it live, but I didn't really put two and two together. But when Kendrick first comes on stage and they show the controller layout with the X, the triangle, the circle, and the square, the X, the circle, the square, and the triangle light up in a certain sequence. And it is literally a cheat code for GTA for max health in armor. He started out the show with a cheat code. Full health and armor. Max health and armor. There is so many layers from it. From that to the show ending with the game over, bro. It was way more than just about the music. It was way more than just about the entertainment. It was such a statement and a message. And it flew over so many people's heads, which is why, even though I had already put out a reaction / breakdown to the Super Bowl halftime show, I know that there was stuff that I missed, and that's why I really wanted to get this on the channel, because he did such a great job breaking that down, man. And it was so much more than just the music. It was crazy. But yeah, that is another video in the books from the Boom Boom Room. I appreciate everybody that's tapped in this far, man. I appreciate all the love and support. If you guys haven't already hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, man. I'm trying to make this channel grow as quickly as possible, so that way I can get the things that I want to say to as many people as possible. Yeah, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. But hit the subscribe button. Drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys want to see on the channel moving forward, man. I do this for y'all. So I appreciate all the love and support again, and I will see y'all on the next video. Much love.